the so the question is, why on earth is Skava with us? And there are several possible answers. And one is that it is, when the boat comes back to the shore, by getting to this little set of islands here and that coastline, that's probably the best place for Skava to get back to her home.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
That's probably the best bet.
I would have a reason to get home fast. I mean, I could travel in another fashion, so I would need the reason why I want to
Well,
go
also
fast.
my claim was that this route across these mountains here, I think is probably extremely dangerous.
Yeah, but why wouldn't I look for a boat that goes along the coast?
Right. Yeah. Well, they are, first of all, because they might eat you. These are not, or something else equally terrible.
Whatever.
Because as I say, these are pirates and criminals and people with strange practices. And so,
I wouldn't keep my knife because I'm not going to leave it to anybody.
And this particular ship the reason this particular ship might be a better choice for you is because they have made an agreement with this community that you are now considered part of.
I'm still going to keep my knife.
That's probably a good idea. So the point, though, is that as far as feeling safe that they are going to take you where they say they are going to take you, there's probably no one else in this entire portion of the world that you could trust like that in a ship. So,
and I'm not going alone. Any other boat would mean that I would...
That's absolutely correct.
Have to navigate all the things that are possible on my own.
So,
that's enough of a reason.
I think so. It is just a little bit of a surprise when they take a right. They go along the coast here, then they take a right and move out toward the middle, out here. And they reassure you that there is nothing really wrong with this. Their signs and their practices have revealed to them that the vomiter will be arriving in this region, and they would like to meet it. And that's when they're joined by... they had kept the warships just towed by the main ship. And you kind of get the idea that perhaps when they travel in other places that they get in the warships and go and raid villages. Yeah. But right now they are not doing that. They were just towing them and keeping a few people on them to maintain them. Yeah. And now when they move out here, then they get a crew onto each one.
Okay, so this feels kind of a religious practice. Maybe they're gonna bless the ships.
You think so?
Yeah, get the ships swallowed by the vomiter and get them thrown back, and then maybe
there's at least one thing reassuring about the name.
Yeah,
it implies that whatever goes down comes back up.
Yeah.
So.
And they at least didn't say that the ship we are on is going to go in there.
Exactly. The ship you are on, that is fine. You can watch from the deck and feel perfectly happy. Mm-hmm. So should we just cut to this vomiter's second stomach now, or?
I didn't want to look down that far.
Okay.
Excellent chance for you to record this.
Oh, so many interesting things. Yes, it's quite a sight. That's true. Yeah.
At least 2 or 3 are happy.
I'm going to suggest that as an initiate of the buried dead, one of the things that is just a feature of being an initiate is that whatever you concentrate on and watch and learn in terms of information, when you die, it all explodes out of your brain and goes to the god of buried secrets, of the buried dead. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
There you go.
Sweet nice. God.
So many benefits to being an initiate.
I know.
That's one thing I didn't have time to do. I wanted to write a little bit more about some of the specifics of the religion, and for you too, because being an initiate of a religion is supposed to really get you something. Okay. It's supposed to actually give you some special relationships, some special connections. You certainly should have learned some spells that would be associated with the the cult, and things like that.
Yeah.
So that is about the extent of my information right now, until you want to we need to decide what happened to Zort, which is tricky because he kind of goes together with you, so it's hard
could I play him, but very, very
You could
carefully?
send him before you, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, either
Possibly.
that or
I
I
mean,
just
that's
keep him in
probably
the
the
background.
smartest idea.
Yeah, I'm not. It's difficult.
It depends a little bit
If
on
it's
how
just a-
long we are going
yeah.
to be at sea.
If it's
Right.
just a transport job, I mean, he could have gotten some complications from the ghoul,
Right.
like
Right.
serious infection or something like that. So he's bedridden.
Correct. Yeah, he could be.
He's with us, but he's like
Yeah,
you know,
out of
vegetable.
out of
commission.
company. I think that's probably the best
Yeah.
plan. Yeah, that he has to recover.
Yeah.
And they will like him because he is touched by chaos. So they are going to like him and give him a nice bed and downstairs, and so that makes sense anyway. Now, I have a few interesting things here. One thing you are not going to see is the fortress of these sailors and their culture, which I decided to use this for. But we are not going there. I just wanted you to know that they have one. So somewhere in these islands is a cool fortress on a rocky island overlooking the ocean, full of interesting people. So the first instance is that when you get out of sight of land, which is a bad day for Skaba, you literally look in all directions and there just isn't any. And so on that day is when one of the people, whose name is Baran, and I'm going to say Baran is a man who looks completely ordinary, except that his fingernails have been replaced by like the scales of a fish running along his fingers. Right. And there's the ship right there for the main ship, and it's not the big ship. No, it's going to be bigger than that one. I mean, the picture is
Big enough.
They
There are
didn't-
some
they didn't
walls
get
you
the-
can
they didn't get the
crouch
picture
against
right.
and feel like you are not there. That's big enough. I'm going to be in some corner where I preferably don't see the sea.
Ah, perfect. Where did it go? Okay.
Like there in the aft,
So
next to one
basically,
of those stairs.
in the water here, if we were to fall overboard and not get eaten by the vomiter, is there like sharks, moranas?
I
different
told you, we make it to the
It sounds like
shore if
yeah.
there is nothing in the way. I had the mouth
It's just
big
nasty to
enough.
fall in the water.
It's not
stay
really
out of the water. Okay.
it's not like the movies where you fall into the water and 50 different carnivores
Yeah.
all grab you, but it is still
possibility.
it's a possibility.
Okay.
Yes, there's a certain reality to the problems of falling in at all. All right, so here is the first thing that is going to occur. That when the ship and its partners come to out of the sight of land, that the air turns very full of mist and water and smells like salt even more. It always does, but now it's like it's coming if you after a little while you have to spit, and it will be salt water. So it's a little bit. You'll feel like, are we underwater all of a sudden? How does this doesn't feel right? Whereas the various sailors and people on the ships, they welcome this and will strip their small amount of clothes anyway, and will happily welcome this effect. So let's see. Yes. Now, this sort of obviously foolish sensation that you're underwater rather than on top of it. I mean, you can look down over the side of the ship and you will see the surface of the ocean, so it's impossible to say that you are underwater. But still, that sensation is hard to get rid of. It feels like that in some ways. And this effect is made stronger by the fact that now there are some groups of fish that are apparently swimming through the air as if it were water and passing over the ship, and sometimes some other creatures, some of which look extremely strange to you, that you have never dreamed there was a fish that looked like that. And so they are swarming across. And so the oh goodness, you're lucky. You, Skava, is attacked is going to be struck by 12 of them.
Holy crap.
12 again for Urko.
How many?
Have my arm healed?
Oh yes, no problem. Let me find my die.
Did I have 10 to my armor before we went on the ship?
Yes, I think you had time to fix everything.
Okay.
My rule is that I have to look for it right away, because if you say, "Oh, I will get it later,"
You never do.
yes, that will be the end of that story. Okay, and then for Jovan. Oh goodness!
Damn it.
Yes, 15.
How many of those
Okay.
are around here?
Well, there's
That's a swarm.
Yes, you have been. This is going on all day.
How
So,
big are they? Like,
well, they're like I said, they change from species to species.
oh, okay.
So most of them are just ordinary little fish in huge groups.
Yeah.
So think of a big school or swarm of them
Yeah.
covering the ship, and this is how many actually pass through you.
Okay.
So they're not biting you.
Aha, so they just swim straight through us.
Mm-hmm.
They're just passing through.
Okay, they're on a different plane than we are.
Shall we get ready for some spirit work here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Spirit fish.
What do I want to get over it or under?
You would like to roll low, actually. Now, if they have a power of 10, you have a power of 14. So that is
15.
15. Oh my goodness. So 75 for you, 75 or less. Now,
Yeah, that's
for them, let
51.
me see. Yes. And now I'm counting. So 10 against 15 is going to be, for them, 25. And this one rolled a 22. So you are going to make another. You can you can choose to drive down its power, which is probably not the best plan. Let's see.
Same rules as before.
Yes, except that they are only going to hit once each. They are not going to stay in spirit combat with you, so it's not quite the same issue. Let's just do it
But
the
each
easy way.
fish is one entity.
Yes, we're going to do this
12
11 more times. Yes. So,
Okay, I stay put.
so let's. What you're going to do is roll percentage to see. Oh, do you really need to do that? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, 66.
Well, it will knock you down by 1 power.
What happens when you come to 0?
You
So-
don't want to
Oh,
know.
well,
I know.
in the case of this kind of thing,
Yeah.
this is not so bad. This is just a minor effect. They are
Permanent or
not.
not?
They are not remaining in spirit combat to try to possess you or to destroy you. This is just an incidental effect of them passing through.
So that's non-permanent.
Yes, and I'm also going to put it slightly differently. I'm going to say that the number of fish that struck you is actually going to be the power. So in that case, that was 12. You still hit it. It still hit you. It's okay.